Hello YouTube, welcome to the channel. If you get something out of the content that I put up here, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe and give me a like on these videos. It can make a real difference in the algorithms and how they share content with other channels. Also, if you're interested in some one-on-one Skype sessions, you'll find a good email on me in the description of every video I put up. Okay, today we're going to jump in on note identification on the mandolin. Some of you guys that have followed the channel from the beginning may remember this was the first video that I actually made like 3.5 years ago. But now with way better editing and better gear to work with, and I'm going to include the tabs for this, some of those really important videos to me, I think it's justified to remake those. So from time to time, we're going to upgrade some of that early material. But let's jump right in on this. And there are so many ways that you could gather this knowledge. Over time, you're basically going to figure it out. But to speed that process up, the best way that I've found, and there's plenty of ways to study it, you could just look at each string and begin to memorize the notes straight down, the chromatic scale. If that works for you, then that's great. Here's something that's really been beneficial to me. If you think about the fretboard, we're basically going to play from an open string, up to the 12th fret. So obviously we could play that note value in those two places. I could play a G note here or a G note on the 12th fret. But basically I have one opportunity to play each note on each string, and I like to practice it that way in a cycle of fifths. If you thought about E being the 5 to the A being the 5 to the D being the 5 to the G. I just want to look at those 4 notes instead of all 12 of the notes at one time. And I'm going to play those each opportunity that I have. On the G string, and you can follow me along in the tab, the 9th fret of the G string, that's an E note. And I like to play these 4 times each. A lot of things happen musically in counts of 4 and counts of 8. So I'm going to have the G string on the 9th fret, then the D string on the 2nd fret. There's my E note there. Then a 7th fret note on the A string. Some of you guys may recognize that from playing fiddle tunes. Again, all those other things that we've done to begin to have this knowledge, we're not abandoning any of that. We're just going to add another layer of capability with this. So then an open E or the 12th fret, either one of those would work. And I'm going to practice it this way. Four notes on each one of those opportunities. Now on to the A's. I'm going right up the E string to the A string. Now those notes, it's going to be the 2nd fret on the G string, and then the 7th fret on the A string. Then let's play open A, and then the 5th fret on the E string. So again, 4 times each one of those notes. On to the D's. Continuing right up through the strings. For the D notes, it's going to be the 7th fret on the G string, then an open D, 5th fret on the A, and 10th fret on the E. So now let's play those 4 times each. Now, the last interval that we're going to do today is the G. That's our last note, so we would start with an open G, then 5th fret on the D string, 10th fret on the A string, and then 3rd fret on the E. Now 4 times each. Okay, so what we have that's really great about this, what we're doing here, I don't want you to think that you're necessarily going to have to go through all 12 notes of a chromatic scale and do this. More than likely, before you would ever get to that point studying it this way, you would have just been able to use these as a point of reference. For example, the E notes. We know that's the first one that we did. The E notes are only a half step from F. There's no E sharp or F flat. So every one of those E notes, if they're just played a fret up, then obviously those become the F notes on the fretboard. So this creates points of reference all over, the different neighborhoods of the fretboard, as I like to call it. So now I'm going to play through the whole thing, the exercise, and this is what you'll find in the tab, what I'm about to play, starting on the E's. Now the A's. The D's. And the G's. All right, I hope this helps with note identification.